When a student is constantly displaying inappropriate behaviour and not effectively accessing the learning, teachers are concerned. And when a student doesn't respond to your whole class expectations, to your reinforcers or to your consequences, you may decide to work with them to develop an individual behaviour contract. And depending on the severity of the problem, you may try to access parental support to implement the plan. This video is part of a series of videos that address effective ways to deal with difficult student behaviour. And in this particular video, I'm going to describe the process of developing an individual student behaviour contract. This stepped approach will help you to make this process a success for both you and for the student. And the process is more about how you interact with the student and the conversation that you have with the student rather than the completion of any paperwork. The conversation that you have with the student will help to build the relationship with them because you're showing that you're willing to listen to them, to take their perspective into account, and to provide the support that they need to be successful. I'm Mari Amaro, and I'm the Principal Presenter at The Highly Effective Teacher. I'm a teacher, and I've been working with students and supporting teachers for over 30 years. I'm passionate about helping teachers understand students and student behaviour so that they can improve their practice. And I combine research and experience to provide teaching strategies that improve student learning, especially practices that take no extra teacher time, that can actually give you back time because you're working more effectively. I love coaching teachers so that they thrive in the teaching profession, not just survive. Better teacher practice means improved teacher and student wellbeing, and that contributes to better social and academic outcomes for all our students. If you'd like to learn more about how to be a highly effective teacher, please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so that you receive notifications of all our videos. We put out 2 videos every week, so make sure you don't miss any of the content. And when you subscribe, that helps to support our channel, meaning that we can make these videos and get the information and support out to more teachers. And if you know anyone that you think would benefit from the information in these videos, please share them with colleagues, with friends and family. Everyone knows a teacher or someone who works in a school. So when you're developing a behaviour contract with a student, you'll take a series of steps. So number 1, what? First of all, meet with the student in a neutral environment, somewhere you can both sit and chat and not be disturbed or seen by other students or teachers. Make it clear to the student that they're not in trouble, but that this is a chance for both of you to work together to improve the situation. You might like to begin the conversation with something like this. I've noticed that you're not having a very good time in class lately, Johnny. What's happening? The idea is that you use open-ended questions so that the student will not feel defensive or intimidating and will be more likely to own their own behaviour. Resist the temptation to tell them what you think is the problem. If they don't answer immediately, refrain from filling the silence. Wait and give them the chance to speak. If they still don't say anything, you could say, what might someone else in the class say? Most students will own their behaviour if they trust the adult and you ensure that the situation is non-threatening. If you'd like to learn more about how to create a culture of giving students a voice, check out our videos on the value of circle time and how to run circle time in your classroom. Number 2, why? Once you've come to an agreement about the problem behaviour, ask the student what they think is causing the problem. And this can give you clues as to the function of their behaviour, and this information will help you to support them in their learning. For example, if they find the work too difficult, it's boring or irrelevant, think of ways that you can address these issues and talk about them with the student. Consider providing some additional support, using agreed cues between you and the student, breaking the work up into achievable chunks, offering additional breaks for students who have difficulty working for long periods of time, and providing reinforcement when tasks are begun and completed as agreed. Also, check out our video on the function of behaviour in this series so that you can learn to look for clues that can help with managing difficult student behaviour. Number 3, how? So work out a positively stated learning behaviour goal with the student that states what the replacement behaviour might be. For example, If they don't do any classwork, then the replacement behaviour might be to begin work tasks and complete a certain percentage of that work. See if you can make it a SMART goal. So that means it's specific. For example, Tommy will begin work tasks once the teacher has completed instructions. It's measurable. The teacher and student will monitor how often the student begins work immediately. So set a number of times in the lesson or the day that the student might be able to achieve this goal. A is for achievable. Discuss with the student what they think they will be able to achieve. And if necessary, make the goal easier to begin with so that the student is set up for success. So make it a small goal, not your big overarching goal. And this feeds into what the R is for realistic. If Tommy never starts his work immediately, then make it part of the agreement that he will do it a couple of times a day. Because if you make the goal too difficult, the student may become disheartened, and you will as well, and then give up. And you can always raise the bar once the student is achieving the goal easily. And T is for timely. Set a time to meet again with the student to review the contract, preferably within the week. You want it to be a short period of time because kids don't have that long attention span. Sometimes we don't either. Number 4, the student. Make sure the student understands what they need to do, that it's really explicit for them. So, for example, when the student sets a task, the student will do something that shows that they are ready to begin. Some students may need to be explicitly shown what to do and given a chance to practice. Don't assume that they're able to do it just because they can tell you what to do. Get them to actually show you. Number 5, the teacher. So work out what you will do as your part of the contract. For example, you may give assistance to the student as soon as the rest of the class is working, or you'll give the student free time when they complete their work, or you'll give the student a secret signal to get back on task. Again, some students will need you to show them exactly what you're going to do, so demonstrate it for them beforehand. Number 6, reinforce. So decide on a reinforcer or a reward system. And this could be communication with parents, so letting parents know that the student is being successful. For example, for both primary and secondary students, a call home when the student has been successful is one of the biggest reinforcers for most kids. During class time, the student may also gain free time on the computer or with a friend. They might like to go outside and bounce a ball for a while. Really simple things can be reinforcers. And remember, ask the student what they think would work for them. They're the best source of information around what's going to work in terms of reinforcers. And if you want to learn more about positive reinforcement, check out our videos on why it is good for students and for teachers. Number 7, a plan. So work out the plan with the student about what to do when they don't follow the plan. For example, the teacher will give a reminder and you might say, Tommy, you need to begin your work, thanks. Walk away and give take-up time. When the student complies, give a non-verbal cue to recognise that. And if the student doesn't begin work, give another reminder. Tommy, remember you need to begin your work. This is your second warning. Again, walk away and allow time for processing. And you might want to think about using the word warning, whether that's appropriate or not. For some kids, it could be a trigger for poor behaviour. If the student still doesn't comply after a second reminder, then the reward for that session hasn't been achieved. The negative consequence for not completing a task can simply be that they don't get the reward. It doesn't have to be more negative than that. Remember, the student is learning new behaviours and will not be successful every time. Number 8, sign the contract. So write up the contract, print it, and have both teacher and student sign it. Give a copy to the student, and then at the beginning of the lesson or session, give them a private reminder or a pre-correct about the plan and the behaviour goal. You want to make it as easy for them to be successful as possible. And then celebrate the successes that you and the student achieve and be realistic. If the student has done no work in your class all year and is now completing some work, recognise the change and reinforce yourself and the student, because that is success. Remember, learning a new habit takes time. Check out our other videos in this series about how to deal with difficult student behaviour. Stay safe and happy teaching.